Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight on our news.
The BPL CEO says no load shedding this summer, but that doesn't mean no blackouts.
The Baines and Grandstown MP reveal what life after politics will entail.
Our news is brought to you by Alive.
Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. I'm Christina Dragovich. Topping news tonight, Bahamas Power and Light CEO Whitney Heastie says Bahamians shouldn't expect a dark, hot summer this year as the company intends to keep the lights on. During a press conference, Heastie explained that the recent island-wide power outage was isolated and not an indication of what's to come this summer. Kyle Joaquin has more.
The BPL CEO said he doesn't expect there to be any load shedding this summer, unlike previous summers. But he said he won't make any promises, especially when it comes to Mother Nature.
No, there'll be no load shedding this summer, given the fact that we have sufficient generation on the ground. We've got more than 450 megawatts of generation on the ground.
The BPL CEO said that's more than enough to meet the needs of consumers here in New Providence, even at a peak demand of 257, unlike previous summers which saw rolling blackouts. But what about incidents like Monday night when the capital was plunged into darkness for hours, the result of a lightning strike?
The fault that did occur did not isolate the fault to the initiating event, and therefore it migrated, causing the entire system to react to the fault, which caused eventually an island-wide blackout.
It's no secret that for years, the summer months have been torturous for Bahamians, often left in the dark as the state-owned power company carried out load shedding. And on a week like this, where it has rained every day, Heastie said he can't promise that there won't be power outages.
Absolutely, and I think that's the key. I think that's the key.
Aging equipment.
We have aging equipment. We're doing our best. I think everybody knows Shell North America has been awarded the consortium lead for the gas to power. And we're working really diligently to make sure until the new generation, which is the part of that gas to power equation, gets on the ground, that we're doing everything with the assets we have to maintain them and get them where they should be, to make sure we carry through the peak load of the summer.
So whenever there's an island-wide outage or a major issue where a large portion of the island is in darkness for hours, as was the case on Monday, Heastie explains what's usually the holdup for power to be restored.
It has to be done safely. We don't want anyone to get hurt. And that's, I prefer to keep the island black than anyone getting hurt. That to me is most important in an industry where you can't see anything, you can't see the danger, right? And it's too late when it happens.
Still, he says, management isn't happy with the restoration times.
We're never going to be satisfied, all right? I certainly come from a utility background where we should be able to respond and get an island back a whole lot faster, right? So 3.5, 4 hours is certainly not acceptable to me. I don't think it's acceptable to anyone. And when you look at the IEEE, which is the standard by which, power utilities are rated, we've got a long ways to go. But it's a step approach. We recognize that, BPL employees are working diligently to try and make sure we move this thing along.
For Our News, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
Police on Harbor Island are investigating allegations of indecent assault on 2 underage female tourists. According to reports, the 2 girls were on a beach on Harbor Island between midnight and 2 o'clock this morning when they were indecently assaulted by 2 Bahamian men. The 2 men, who are said to be residents of Harbor Island, have been taken into police custody. And over on the Berry Islands, police say a Chinese woman was found unresponsive and floating in waters off Great Stirrup Cay this morning. According to reports, the woman was discovered around 11 a.m. Police say she was pulled from the water and CPR was performed on her. However, the woman was transported to the local clinic where she was pronounced dead. Authorities have launched an investigation into her death. In other news, Baines and Grandstown MP Travis Robinson revealing more about his decision to vote no to the value-added tax hike. Robinson now says as an individual he agrees with the hike, but as an MP he could not vote against the desires of his constituents. His explanation comes as the F&M MP revealed he started a tourism consultancy company and is not ruling out doing work for the government. Jasmine Brown has the details.
Robinson was candid in his comments as he further explained his decision to vote no to a 60% increase in value-added tax. He said at the end of the day he had to separate Travis the man from Travis the MP.
That Travis Robinson, the individual, I support the increase in VAT. Travis Robinson, the member of Parliament, I do not support the increase in VAT.
Robinson spoke to the media on the sidelines of the launch of his constituency's roof repair program. His statements came one day after he insisted in Parliament that his vote and his integrity are not for sale. Today he insisted that while he could personally afford the VAT hike, his constituents could not.
When I rise in the House of Assembly, I say, Mr. Speaker, I rise on behalf of the people of Bain and Grahamstown. And so it is for them that I voted as I did inside the House. I can pay the VAT as an individual, but it's not about me. It's about the thousands of people in Bain and Grahamstown who are dependent upon me to be able to be their voice inside the House.
Since being fired as parliamentary secretary in the Ministry of Tourism over his decision to vote against the VAT bill, Robinson has revealed his latest career move. Robinson explained that his time at the University of the Bahamas and the Ministry of Tourism led him to the decision to do consultancy work. Robinson says his company, named Consult Bahamas Limited, will be focused on the tourism industry. We repeatedly asked if he was currently doing consultation work for the government or was in talks to provide consultancy services to the Minis administration, but he declined to say.
That is a question that I wish not to answer at this time, simply because I don't want to spur up any unnecessary talks about it.
However, he did say that if he were made an offer, he would not turn it down.
Whatever may come or whatever may arise, Travis Robinson will be excited to continue to work in the tourism industry.
So you wouldn't turn down an offer from the government for consultancy work?
Well, that is a decision to be determined when that time comes.
Reporting for our News, I'm Jasmine Brown.
3 days before the value-added tax hike takes effect, consumers made a mad dash to local stores to stock up on essentials. Jillian Gray reports.
The move to increase value-added tax has been condemned by the church, the business community, and many in the wider public. Even days ahead of its implementation, shoppers are still advocating for government to reconsider the tax hike.
We're already struggling as it is, and I don't think it should happen.
It's already very difficult for the cost of groceries and the bread basket items. A lot of people don't use those items, like butter and margarine. They're not good, they're not healthy for you.
I think it's going to be, the cost of living is going to be increased significantly. And I think it's going to be burdensome for the average Bahamian regular person.
Along with the increase in VAT, a new sliding scale for gaming houses has been approved. And in the wake of some gaming bosses announcing layoffs, some customers fear that the VAT increase will result in job losses in other sectors as well.
We could be getting layoffs soon from the hotel. Not because I need the number of people saying stuff. You have people not saying anything, they're just going to do what they have to do. So it affecting everybody.
Not just the number man say losing their job. If you're taking so much from me and I have to do a balance sheet or a balance I have, of course when I go to my books I have to look for balance. And I might have to let go 1 or 2 persons.
As Bahamians brace for the tax increase, stores are capitalizing on it by advertising pre-VAT sales, and customers are more than happy to take advantage of it.
Yes, ma'am. I came to catch some sales before Sunday, before everything go up.
I have to take advantage before the increase, the 60% increase in VAT. I thought I'd take this time to do some pre-VAT 12% implementation.
The increase in value-added tax will take place as of Sunday, and while customers say they are upset about the change, they're preparing for it nonetheless. Reporting for Our News, I'm Jillian Gray.
Still to come on Our News, wary business owners learn how to become VAT compliant. Plus, just how relevant is the Westminster system of governance? That's coming up when Our News returns.